When it comes to designing, I often find inspiration through traveling. And I recently took a trip to Florida and visited the city of Miami. And boy, was I inspired by the architecture there. One design in particular, Art Deco. So I wanted to show you today how easy it is to transform a traditional looking chair to have that Art Deco inspiration behind it. I love Art Deco. It's the mixture of the old and new. And the way we're going to transform this piece of furniture is by spray painting it instead of painting. The reason being is, you know, when you paint with a brush, you get all those strokes, and spray paint just gives you that nice, even texture. Here's a tip. Make sure it has a primer and paint in one. That will save you the trouble of having to sand. And today I'm going to use a high gloss paint. Let's move on to some safety precautions when using spray paint. What you will need is a mask, some safety glasses, and some gloves so you don't get any paint on them. The next thing we're going to do then is go ahead and reupholster this seat. And I chose this beautiful blue, reminds me of the ocean. But the other reason why I chose this fabric is because it's thick and it's durable. This is a seat and you want it to be long lasting. And to attach this fabric to your seat, you are going to need some tools. You will need a screwdriver to remove the seat. You will need some pliers to take out the old staples. You'll need a staple gun and some scissors. And one last thing, a cleaning cloth to wipe down the piece of furniture before you spray paint. All right, let's get started. Okay, the fun begins. We're ready to spray paint, but here's some advice when spray painting. The first thing that you'll want to do is make sure you shake the can up well. You want to be at least 6 to 12 inches away from the piece of furniture. If you're too close, you're going to get drips, it's going to clump up, not going to look good. If you're too far away, well, you are just spraying in the wind, my friend. So let's get started. Okay, that looks great. I'm going to let this sit for about 20 minutes. That will allow this first coat to really just sit there and dry. Coming up after the break, I'm going to show you how to upholster this chair and turn it into a true Art Deco piece. Don't go away. At Home with Didiayer will be right back. It's amazing what a can of spray paint can do. This piece of furniture looks great. The next step we're going to do is to reupholster the seat. Now I can tell that this old chair has had a lot of love. There are a few different fabrics that have been put on here. But I still want to go ahead and remove this fabric. One, because it has some ridges in it and I want my fabric to lay nice and flat. And two, this fabric will act as our guideline to cutting out our new fabric. So you're just going to take your pliers and you're going to remove all the old staples. I'm always looking for a great project to do in an afternoon, and I always tend to gravitate to garage sales or flea markets, and that's where I found this chair. It was one of those chairs that I just immediately fell in love with and knew exactly what I wanted to do with it. Okay, we've got to allow staples out, and you can see that this chair has had a lot of love. I'm going to leave this one on here. It will just protect the actual foam that's inside. We're just going to put it aside, and we're going to use this old piece as our guide for our new fabric. And just lay down our fabric and take that old piece of fabric and place it on top. Now, if you feel it's necessary to use a fabric marker, you can go ahead and mark around the fabric, but I'm just going to go ahead and use my scissors and cut it out. Okay, so you can see the basic pattern of our new piece of fabric. Thank you, old piece. What we're going to do now is make sure that it's nice and centered there, and you'll just see that somebody has gone ahead with this old piece and made a little L square cut there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Just go in and across. That extra piece of material that's being cut out will help when you're folding. So now we're going to get rid of this old piece. We're going to bring in our seat, and we're going to place it down. And you'll want to go ahead and staple the side closest to you first, right in the center. Perfect. And once you've done that, you're going to lift up. Make sure that your fabric is nice and taut, like so. Bring it over and put a staple in the front here. Okay, now let's go back to where we first started and begin to staple along. We're going to turn it around and do the same on the other side. Okay, so there you have it. You can see that we've done the two sides. Go ahead and do the others. When you go to do these though, remember we had that really nice little L shape that will allow us to help fold it over and make a nice clean seam. So you're just basically taking this and folding it down, making sure you have your finger on the corner, and then moving it over by just folding it a little bit and bringing it down. And then go ahead and staple. Perfect. We'll do that on the other side. Again, just fold it over, fold this top to get a nice fold on the seam, and bring it over. And just continue stapling. And there you have it, a new seat for your new Art Deco chair. You may want to go and turn it over and just cut off any excess fabric that you see. Okay, we'll slide it on here. And if you had any screws or attachments to secure your seat, go ahead and do that. But boy, doesn't that look great? A little bit of Art Deco inspiration all the way from Miami. Well, that's all the time we have for this episode. If you enjoyed the episode and there's any subjects that you want to learn more about, you can always go to our website, athomewithdidiayer.com. I'm Didiayer Snyder. Thanks for watching.